Well, we know that Medicare can be overwhelming, a lot to think about and certainly a lot to consider, and that's why we're helping you get Medicare educated. Once again, we welcome back Andrew Price with Hometown Medicare Advisors. And Andrew, always good to have you back on the show.
Always good to be here.
Well, you and I were just talking about how complicated Medicare can be, and today I know we're focusing on a topic that I think applies to so many people, and that's that population that continues to work after the age of 65, 66, 67, and still sort of drawing Social Security.
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of questions on what they need to do during that time.
So what is your advice then for somebody that is still working? What should they do when it comes to Medicare?
Well, it depends on their employer plan. So some employer plans are good and they need to stay on it. However, health insurance has went up a lot over the last few years. Deductibles have went up a lot. And Medicare only costs $148.50. So usually when I sit down with someone that's 66, 67, or past Medicare age, it's usually a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot better coverage for them to actually go on Medicare.
So it sounds like really it's case-by-case basis and what they have versus what they could have.
It is, because every situation is different. Different people work for different companies, and every single plan is different.
What if your spouse, one of the other questions we wanted to look at is, what if your spouse is that person working? Would that matter for your particular circumstances when it comes to Medicare?
So when your spouse is working, you can actually, deny your Medicare and stay on their plan after you turn 65 in most cases. Some companies will tell you that you can't carry your spouse, but there again, it's a case-by-case situation.
And what if the opposite is true?
That's probably the question we have the most, is you have someone that wants to retire, they turn 65 and qualify for Medicare, but they have a younger spouse, and so they feel like they have to keep on working just to carry the insurance on their younger spouse. And one of the good things that's happened with the Affordable Care Act is those people can get insurance in a lot of cases very affordably. And that's what I do a lot with people, is just kind of sit down and say, okay, these are your options and these are the costs, and help them weigh out and figure out which way is best for them.
Certainly a highlight, though, when you say there are options, because that's exactly it. A lot of people, I think, are sort of stuck with that, well, I qualify, but she's not old enough yet, so I just need to keep that working going.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people want to retire, but feel like they can. And so over the past few years, we've had a lot of people that we've sat down with be able to retire a little bit early because there are other insured options available now.
And it's nice, too, I would imagine, for someone like yourself who can sit down and look at these options individually to say there are so many tools now in the tool belt.
There are, and that's what I love about my job, is being able to sit down with people and talk to them face to face, because Medicare and insurance in general is extremely complicated. And so when you're trying to figure out on your own, and you go online and Google things, and then you get all these phone calls and everyone's trying to sell you something, it's good to sit down with a local person that can actually kind of walk you through.
And one of the other questions we hear a lot is, will I be penalized? If I'm old enough and I don't take it, will there be penalties associated with it?
That's always a big fear, is Medicare penalties. So when you turn 65, if you have employer coverage and you're still working, or your spouse is still working, there is not a penalty for denying your Medicare. The difficult part comes is if you're retired and your company offers a plan, if you do not take Medicare Part B, then you can have a penalty later on. But it does get very, very complicated, and that's why I sit down with people and kind of look at their individual situation and say, okay, because of this and this, you should go this way or go that way.
As we continue to navigate down this road, does it seem like there's more and more options for people, that it really is sort of tailoring to individual needs?
Because there's so many options, it kind of makes things confusing. And so, I represent all the plans, and so that makes it a lot easier, because I'm not kind of, just saying, okay, there's this one way and that's it. And so I'll have a spouse on one plan and have the other spouse on a different plan a lot of times.
I love it. Lot to navigate, but great to have somebody like you that can show us what might work best for us in any particular case.
Oh, yes.
All right, we'll give everybody the information. Hope to see you next time. Looking forward to it. We'll address another set of topics. But if you would like more information, you can find Andrew there at 423-737-1865, and he can help you navigate Medicare.